Hello, this is my YouTube video for media institutions. My name's Charles Stucker and I'll be doing the history of television. So let's start off with a brief history of the television. In 1862, Abbe Giovanni Castelli invents his pantelegraph, which enables him to transmit a still image over some wires. In 1873, scientists May and Smith experiment with selenium and light. This reveals the possibility for inventors to transform light into electric signals. Now in 1876, Boston civil servant George Carey was thinking about complete television systems, and in 1877 he put forward drawings for what he called a selenium camera. That would allow people to see by electricity. In 1880, inventors Alexander Graham Bell and Thomas Edison theorised about telephone devices that transmit image as well as sound. Bell's photophone used light to transmit sound, and he wanted to advance the device for image sending. See where he was going with that? Now in 1884, Paul Nipkow sends images over wires using a rotating metal disc technology, calling it the electric telescope, which has 18 lines of resolution. 1900, and we call it television. At the World's Fair in Paris, the first International Congress of Electricity was held. That is where Russian Konstantin Perksy made the first known use of the word television. Persky. In 1906, the first mechanical television system was made. Boris Rosen combines Nipkow's disc and cathode tube and builds the first working mechanical TV system. Eureka! In 1924 to 1925, the first moving silhouette images were seen. American Charles Jenkins and John Baird from Scotland each demonstrate the mechanical transmissions of images over wire circuits. John Baird becomes the first person to transmit moving silhouette images using a mechanical system based on Nipkow's disc. Then in 1926, John Baird operates a television system with 30 lines of resolution, running 5 frames per second. In 1927, the Bell Telephone and the US Department of Commerce conduct the first long-distance use of television that took place between Washington, D.C. and New York. Secretary of Commerce Herbert Hoover commented, "Today we have, in a sense, the transmission of sight for the first time in the world's history. Human genius has now destroyed the impediment of distance in a new respect and in a manner hitherto unknown." So I guess this kind of discovery of the TV enabled people to communicate with each other in a completely different manner. Not just communicating now with audio, but now you can see each other as well. Imagine what these advances mean to certain people. They have now got television. They've now got they've had audio, but now they've got visual. They'll be able to see what they've been hearing. The fact that it can now be transmitted as well. The fact that everywhere it can be sent from a different location. I think it must have felt for them to be something quite spectacular. It's kind of like the discovery of 3D TV. And I'm sure some people would have thought this is just a phase, it won't ever catch on, the fact that we can, like TV, I'm sure a lot of people were so used to radio that they probably wasn't so bothered about television. They're probably, like today, there'll probably be some sticklers saying, I'll never get into this, that'll never be my sort of thing. But in the end, it started to catch on. Alright, I know what you're thinking, he's rambling on. So let's get back to the timeline, shall we? In 1929, John Baird opens his first TV studio. However, the image quality was poor. In 1930, Charles Jenkins broadcast the first TV commercial. And then the BBC begin regular transmissions. And then in 1937, the BBC starts high-definition broadcasting from London. It's not the high definition that we would see now these days, but it was a better definition than what they had done before. In 1940, Peter Goldmark invents a 343-line resolution colour TV system. So let's stop, collaborate and listen. Peter Goldmark comes along with a colour TV system. Up till now, everyone's been watching TV in black and white. So, another revelation in the TV development. Imagine, seeing TV in black and white. Suddenly, some guy from the back of the room comes up and says, "Look, guys, I've got a system for colour television." Big news. Peter Goldmark, who's working for the CBS, he demonstrates his colour television system. His system produced colour pictures by having a red, blue, green wheel spin in front of a cathode ray tube. This mechanical means of producing the colour picture was used in 1949 to broadcast medical procedures from Pennsylvania and Atlantic City hospitals. Now TV is swiftly starting to develop. In 1956, Ampex introduces the first practical videotape system of broadcast quality. Later on that year, Robert Adler invents the first remote control called the Zenith Space Commander. In 1960, the first split-screen broadcast occurred with the Nixon-Kennedy debates. In 1962, AT&T launches Telstar, the first satellite to carry TV broadcasts. Broadcasts are now internationally relayed. By 1967, most TV broadcasts are in colour. In 1969, July 20, first TV transmission from the moon, and 600 million people watch it on their television screens. So within quite a short amount of time, TV is rapidly developed, and now over 600 million people have watched one single event across the world at once. I mean, come on, this is going somewhere. The colour service is inaugurated on ITV and BBC One. In 1972, it is reported that half of the TVs in everyone's home are colour sets. In 1976, Sony introduces Betamax, the first ever video cassette recorder. In 1982, Dolby Digital Surround Sound comes about. Also in 1982, it's the start of Channel 4 in England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. In 1983, it's the start of breakfast television by the BBC, followed by TVAM on the ITV network. In 1989, it's the start of the domestic satellite TV by Sky. On November the 21st, the televising of the House of Commons begins. In 1990, it's the opening of the British satellite broadcasting, which then merges with Sky to become B-Sky B. In 1997, Channel 5 begins. This results in VTRs needing a lot of retuning to avoid interference. What a kerfuffles! In 1998, digital satellite service starts. Later on in that year, digital terrestrial service starts, including widescreen broadcasts. In 2001, BBC's first digital interactive programme begins. In 2007, there was the first analogue switch-off of BBC Two in Whitehaven, Cumbria, which recently is one of the biggest TV developments. So that was a brief history of the TV. I say brief, I lie. Imagine what we wouldn't have been able to see without TV. We wouldn't have been able to see the crashing down of the Berlin Walls, the JFK assassination. We wouldn't have been able to see EastEnders when Den divorced Angie. In 1966, we wouldn't have been able to see Geoff Hurst score that winning goal when England won the World Cup. We wouldn't have been able to see the moon landings in '69. The royal wedding of Diana and Charles. Sadly, the funeral of Diana. The Apollo 13 splashdown. We wouldn't have been able to see history being made when Barack Obama was inaugurated as president. So we see how TV has shaped the history and pretty much the society of this world. There that without TV we wouldn't have seen some important things that happened in the history of this world. We see that TV came from a few people's ideas, a few famous inventors that were just able to convert their ideas into something fantastic. I mean, that is something quite incredible to think about when you think something that's so influential on our lives and on this world literally came from someone's genius mind. Sure, there's still people that are a little reluctant to convert from analog to digital. Think about the old people that have lived with analogs pretty much all their life. to now get to have to get used to another technological advance is probably difficult for them, to have to now retune their boxes and make sure everything's working differently. I'm sure there's a lot of people that wouldn't be up for that, especially the older generation who are often stuck in their ways. So now just quickly let's look ahead and conclude about what I think is going to happen to the future of television. With the introduction of 3D TVs, I believe the price of technology will fall. I think that we're going to have a digital to 3D TV convergence as well. Not only that, but I feel before everything becomes 3D, a lot of it will be on the internet and the internet only. I'm possibly seeing, instead of TV licensing and instead of TV being based through an aerial, it will now be becoming through people's TV screens. Or possibly to have a TV internet service where everything will be being streamed through the internet into people's television systems in their lounge. Thanks for watching.